gold medal. All America AAU, none of them have gold medal except Mr. Kurt Angle and Aaron Sheik. Because you suck, Teddy Bears. You suck, Dusty Rhodes. You suck, Randy Savage. You suck, Bill Boss. You suck, Bram Blair. You suck. Hold on to my word. You suck, Dan Maloney. You suck. What was his name? You suck, Eric Sent. You suck, Andre Giant. You suck, Hulk Hogan. You suck, his puppet Jimmy Hart. You suck, son of a bitch. Break your rag with a beer bottle. Fuck your ass. You don't like it. Break your rag. If you're the man, fuck your ass. I'm the master. Break your rag. Shooting boy.
Oh yeah, we're on, baby. Like Donkey Kong, baby. Here we are. We're a week removed from the Elimination Chamber. We got to see Shui happen. We got to see Rhea Ripley destroy like she said she would.
Well, I wouldn't call it destroy, but she did win.
I think given all the bullshit and shit talking that Nia Jax had.
Well, she got what was coming to her. That was for certain, but destroyed. It looks like she got destroyed most of that match.
That's okay, fine. It was a Hulk Hogan Andre kind of vibe.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
Well, it works for me, brother. I don't know how Andre talked. I forgot.
But I have creative control in my contract.
Yeah, you do. That's why WCW went to shits. All right. Yeah, you Hulk up as WCW Hawks down. Yeah, so we took an Elimination Chamber. There was a lot of funny moments in the actual men's chamber match, and we'll get into that. And yeah, I feel like it's the first time I saw Elimination Chamber, but I also had to check the individual wrestlers in the match. Like I had to check their Instagrams because they were posting their own version of.
By the way, didn't I tell you that women's title match was going to headline it?
You did call it. All right.
I remember. I'm not.
That was on the last episode, by the way. Go watch.
I'm not fully taking credit for it because remember, you did say it was Elimination Chamber. I had a slight doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I did say that, given the amount of promotion they were putting into this match, that they looked like they were going to let it headline.
That's. Listen, I'm a real man, and I can admit when I'm wrong.
I can also admit that you had a point because I'm not sure whether or not Nia Jax belongs in that position. But regardless,
what I didn't consider was that it's Rhea Ripley's home country that she's coming back to as the champion for the first time. That is all you need to know.
That was what my main point was.
Right. No, you're right, man. You're right, baby. So what do we think from the Elimination Chamber? The women's Elimination Chamber match was cool. I didn't really want Becky to win it, but I think you chose Becky to win it.
I chose it because it seemed like the logical choice.
Yeah.
It's
By
not
the
like
way,
I think it's going to be the moneymaker, but
yeah, but go check out the last episode because we had our predictions, so you can see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're staying true to our predictions from the previous episode, which was the Chamber prediction.
Like, comment,
episode.
and subscribe.
Like, comment, and subscribe before I send all these wrestlers that we do here to your house. You know what I mean? In your house, like the old pay-per-view.
You're just lucky that Sheik is asleep right now from his crack binge. Otherwise,
yeah, he's had his medicine. He's had too much.
Sorry, no. All due respect to Sheik,
everybody knows we love the Sheik, man. There's no, we don't need to fucking say it anymore. They know. Sheik knows right now. He's laughing from heaven, man, on his camel. All right, so.
Women's match. Yes.
Women's Elimination Chamber match. You chose Becky to win. I wanted the underdog, Liv Morgan, to come out.
She had a strong showing, though.
She had a strong showing. I got to tip my hat off to Tiffany. I think
it's Tiffy time.
Yeah, she had it. She had a great outing. And she was not afraid of that moment. She took it.
Oh, yeah. No. A lot of great spots by Tiffy on that.
Yeah. Oh, she's
match.
Tiffy to you now? You're so close to Tiffany? She's become Tiffy?
She prefers to be called Tiffy.
Yeah, well, not from you. But anyway.
That remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Hey, besides, I can't.
Yeah, also your crush is...
you know what? I cannot stray from the love of my life,
yeah,
Britt Baker.
Right, the love of your life that you're gonna have to go through Bebe to get to Baby. You know what I mean?
That's if Bebe can actually get up.
Well, all right. Don't kick a man when he's down. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, Bebe?
Yeah. Well, I learned from the best, MJF.
Yeah. Well, he's down too, but
yeah,
anyway.
but he kicks everybody when he's down.
Well, yeah.
He's probably still kicking them right now. He's down and recovering and still kicking both companies for not giving him a bigger contract.
Well, listen, no one is as down as MJF as AEW is, and we'll get into that. But Elimination Chamber, congratulations to Becky Lynch. She's kind of back in that main event spotlight. She's going to face Rhea Ripley.
One quick thing, though, because I know you're a fan. So how'd you feel about the early elimination of she's now I'm blanking out.
Who left? Who left first?
It was
Yeah. So we had Tiffany, we had Liv Morgan.
It was the Uso wife.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why I'm blanking out.
Naomi.
There we go.
Naomi got eliminated first. You know why I think that happened? Because I also SmackDown she lost as well.
It was really early in the match. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's kind of her paying for having how she left originally with Sasha, and they posted what they posted about the WWE and that they wanted to give the tag team but
that's a Vince thing, usually
right,
the vindictive stuff.
So, but my point is Triple H is a product of Vince too. So. Not all the bullshit that he's done, but at least
I am the game.
Yeah.
I'm here to screw you.
Also, don't forget, I don't know how much erasing power Rock has with the storylines, the overall storylines, but I don't know. We'll have to see. But he's on the board of TKO. He's not on the board of WWE, right? So that's kind of the setup there, and he owns his name.
And then there was the weird story about what we didn't understand during the match at the time, but we found out later to be a allergic reaction that Raquel had.
Which I sent that to you.
You said something was up.
Yeah, I knew. I felt it. She looked different, and I was like, "There's something wrong."
I knew she had no makeup on, but I didn't know why. I found out later.
Yeah. That was hats off to her, man. Hats off to carry that.
She went into Raw like that. Too.
Yeah, she went into Raw like that too.
The makeup must have been really bad. Like we have jokes on the show, but shout out to Raquel Rodriguez. That's a pretty screwed up thing to happen to you, trying to put in your routine makeup and have your face blow up like that.
Right. That's
life endangering in some points with these allergies. So
had some inflammations, right? It was
get well soon from that. It looks like you're already slowly recovering, but get well soon.
No, Raquel, I may not be a fan of her as a wrestler, but obviously as a athlete and
I just don't like her gimmick.
Yeah, exactly.
I call it Hello Kitty, but personally, she seems like a very nice person.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you got to be really nice to date Braun Strowman and still be okay.
Well, to that credit, you got to be really nice to be a person like Tiffany Stratton and date Ludwig Kaiser.
Is that the one? Okay.
Yeah, your favorite slimy fellow.
Yeah, he's got the personality of a dry wall. So I just feel like
that's her thing now.
She's into drywall.
Ludwig Kaiser.
Well, you enjoy that drywall and maybe give it a fresh coat of paint because that guy looks pale and in personality.
You sure he wants a fresh coat of anything? He looks like he's already wearing like 5 pounds of Turkish wrestling grease.
Turkish wrestling.
You never seen the Turkish oil wrestlers before?
Yeah, I have.
He looks just like that.
It just reminds me of like those old black and white fucking films where they would just slap them where yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with the singlets.
Yeah.
Okay, so elimination. What do you think? Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley. That's the match at Mania. What are your thoughts on that?
It's looking that way, and like I said,
you think it'll change? I think that's going to be what they keep.
I mean, anything's subject to change these days.
Well, fair enough, but I don't think there's any indication of that, at least.
Other than Nia coming in there and destroying Becky again.
If Nia's going to get involved in the
like I said, I'm not even sure.
I'm just saying with what has been confirmed so far. What are your thoughts?
I will say this. I'm not really terribly excited. I think it'll be a solid match because they're two very good workers.
Yeah.
I could be pleasantly surprised. More than likely, I will be. I don't think I'll be disappointed, but it's just not the match that I was looking forward to seeing at WrestleMania.
I agree with you. I think Becky Lynch, the Becky Lynch we got against Ronda Rousey a few years ago, in that match, I thought that Becky Lynch and the wave of support she had from the WWE universe and all the fans, and I felt it too. Like that man gimmick, I feel was perfect for that time. I feel like she went away from that, and now that she's come back to being the man, it's just a stretch.
Well, the difference was back then the man thing was kind of coming about organically.
Yes.
Now it
yes.
feels like she's trying to replicate that.
She's got to
and
come
it's
up
not
with
coming-
something new, I think.
It's not coming across the same way.
Right.
But
But
again,
again-
and the fact that she's learning too many of her clothing items to Seth Rollins.
Okay, Rock, calm down. Yeah, I see what.
I think people have been saying that before The Rock.
No,
has.
that's
The Rock
true.
was just saying out loud what we've all been thinking.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah. Fair enough. Which we'll get into. So okay, yeah. I think something's got to give in that match at Mania, and we'll obviously have a full Mania prediction match down the road. But we're 40 days away. 40 days away from WrestleMania. So,
But I will say that was one of the top matches of the card. The women's chamber was actually pleasantly, surprisingly good.
are you taking that one over the men's?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
We'll talk about the men's.
Right. So let's get into, I think, the underrated
Sleeper.
the sleeper of them. And I said it. I said, what are they going to do with this tag match in our last episode? I was
They
like,
had to. They really had to. Because for a match with no build,
no build.
to be able to captivate the Australian
Yeah.
audience.
It was all about the
And
actual.
mind you, there were no Australians in the match.
No.
So it's not like they were going to get a cheap
Right.
pop out of it.
Right.
They had to do something.
A couple.
And they did.
Yeah, you had a couple Brits, an Irish, and a Puerto Rican. That was the match.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And so I would say,
And a Mexican American.
you're talking about
Tom and Nick.
Tom and Nick, yeah,
Tom and
yeah,
Nick.
both of them, both of them
Yeah.
were there, yeah. But I would say this: Dominic, honestly, he impressed me with how he delivered his antics. I thought he was very convincing as that slimy guy who's trying to ruin the match for the what's their name?
I thought it was funny too because he didn't listen.
Yeah. No, but then he got kicked out, right?
Yeah, they tried to kick him out the first time and he didn't listen.
Yeah, he didn't listen. Yeah. What's the tag team's name? They're the
Catch Republic or something like that.
the Catch Republic. Are you talking about
Talk about the Brits, yeah.
That's what they're
New
called.
Catch Republic. that's
New
what they're
Catch
called.
Republic. Okay. Yeah. That's how little they advertised this match because I didn't even know the name of this tag team.
I think they literally came up with that name and started using it at the chamber.
Right.
Because I had no idea going in. I thought it was just like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate.
Well, bottom line is this: with zero promotion for this match, zero Australians in this match, all they had left was to have a killer match. That was the only way they could have won the crowd over,
And they did that.
And
They
they
did that.
They more than did that. Yeah, I think
lot of great spots
on a
in this
technical
match.
skill, I thought that match was the best one. On a technicality,
They put it all out there.
they put it all
I
out there.
think even Finn Balor might have even gotten hurt.
He did get hurt when they won the match. I called it too. I was like, he broke his thumb. It looked like because once he got the titles. By the way, it was funny. The ref gave
Did they
him.
confirm that though? That he broke his thumb?
He's
It looked like it. It sure looked like it.
At least he got a bruising at the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And Finn is a tough son of a bitch. So for him to have to keep going back to look at it
Mm-hmm.
right after that match, it had to be enough pain for him to notice.
Either that or he sold it really well.
I mean, he finished the match with a torn rotator cuff, guys. Against Seth Rollins. That shows you. But my point is, the funny moment was right after he pinned, and won the match. The ref gave him Damien Priest's tag title, and he stopped him. He's like, "No, that's not my title. It's the other." That's something I picked up on, right? Because to the casual fan, they don't even probably think about the fact that these tag titles, they're actually named
they have nameplates.
nameplates for each member. Yeah. So, but during that whole time, he was looking at his thumb as they were celebrating the win. I thought it was a great match. Okay, moving on. Men's Elimination Chamber. I thought the entrances was as entertaining as the match itself. The one being when KO comes in and he goes into his pod. Randy's already in, Bobby Lashley's already in his pod doing his almighty pose in his pod. And then here comes Randy and he goes on top of his pod. And I love the KO commentary, and you only could see this if you went on Instagram and you checked the WWE footage that they posted on through their social media. And it's KO. He's like, hey, look up. He's telling Bobby Lashley. He's trying to break Bobby Lashley's character, and I love that. I think KO is the most comfortable in his character in WWE right now.
Logan Paul also did some pretty
he also
interesting work in his pod, including drawing devil horns.
The devil horns,
himself.
yes. Again, all of this is only available on the social media, so you would have had to go seen it. But most of wrestling fans know about it.
And then the mocking of Randy Orton's pose.
Yeah. And they know when the camera's on them and when it's not.
There was a lot of ribbing going on.
There was
in that match.
100% there was. Your thoughts?
The men's drag on a little too long.
Well,
there wasn't enough great spots. And here's the thing: I'm not going to take away from the competitors. This match had a lot more people that were injured working in it.
Yeah.
So they needed the other people that weren't injured to kind of pick up the slack and
right.
keep it going. And for the most part, I think they did a good job.
Randy, man, you think that was a work? Him selling that back injury?
Well, I mean, he seemed fine
because he's not off the mat. He's still wrestling. So my point is, did he just masterfully sell that?
He's Randy Orton. He's a Viper.
Yeah. I mean, I believed it. I marked out. I thought he actually hurt himself in that match when he dropped that DDT on the hardest part of the Elimination Chamber.
I mean, CM Punk hurt himself taking less of a DDT, so anything can happen.
Yeah, fucking Drew McIntyre. Okay, so let's talk about that.
DM Hunk.
Yeah.
And we can't go about stopping to talk about this match without mentioning DM Hunk because he's the one who took it.
He's the one who took it. The final spot I didn't expect, but it happened, and that was Logan Paul brass knuckling Randy Orton with a knockout punch.
That came suddenly.
It didn't. I didn't expect it. That's what I'm saying. They had no history there either, right? There was no hints at them having a beef or a feud. So
other than Logan Paul having an ego and
Logan Paul having an ego, he got eliminated. He didn't leave the match after he got eliminated, which I didn't catch initially. To be like, oh, something's about to go down. So the camera angles and everything I thought were done masterfully to sell that.
What I did not like, and I will say the main thing I did not like in this match, was the way they incorporated the interference from AJ Styles on my man L.A. Knight.
I know, dude. Well, they had to set up Mania matches, right? This is it. This is all that's going to happen. And you saw on SmackDown, L.A. Knight looking for
the way that they went about it. It's not necessarily the interference itself.
Right.
It's just like the guy just out of nowhere just runs into the pod and just interferes with the match. And
he ran into the pod when LA Knight eliminated. Who did he eliminate? He eliminated whoever he eliminated. Ended up as they're leaving the pod, the cage, chamber. That's when AJ ran in. So
I know it just.
You didn't expect it, even though they did hint at their feud, right? They've been talking shit to each other.
I didn't like the way it was executed.
Yeah, how would you have done it?
I knew it was done. I would have just made it. I don't know, maybe a little bit more creative. Something about maybe incorporating a reason why LA Knight would have to be distracted from his match, and then maybe have someone else eliminate him. Because if it's that easy to get into a pod, what's the point? From this point on in the future, everyone could just run into the pod.
And everybody's saying. But it's I agree.
Is a distraction probably would have, LA Knight would have been talking trash to him and calling an RKO.
Maybe this.
That would have been fine.
Even maybe this. Maybe the cage is closed. AJ comes out. He has the chair. He forces the refs to open this chamber.
Mm-hmm.
That could be another way to do it. But anyway, Monday morning quarterbacking, it doesn't matter. But the bottom line, LA Knight got eliminated. Logan, so that feud is going to now lead into Mania.
That whole match was to set up all the feuds going forward.
Right. Because they didn't really have a card yet. They had the main event, and it's taken so much energy to put in the main event. The Logan Randy, I think that's going to be a fun story to see how that unfolds. Anyway, Drew McIntyre wins. He's the Plan B that they've been promoting, or Plan D in his case. So he's gonna go into Mania to face Seth freaking Rollins. Now let's talk about Raw, and let's talk about.
Before we get into that, let's finish up. Let's talk about. Then we can get into it. Well, let's finish up the card. Stay on.
Oh, you know what?
Rhea Ripley.
I got excited about Drew McIntyre's promo on Raw. That's why I fast forwarded. But yes, you're right. But there's also the Grayson Waller. There's also that. So there was the biggest moment of that.
Yeah, we can talk about that briefly.
Yeah, the biggest thing from that was the fact that Austin Theory was basically looked like a schmuck in the corner, and then Cody challenging The Rock to a one-on-one match. So that was the biggest takeaway. Now,
and the Grayson Waller allowed Austin Theory to take a beating without interjecting in his behalf.
the other big moment is Seth Rollins said he's almost cleared. Right.
Yeah.
So that was the other thing, and then he delivered the curb stomp on Austin. But
Now, I do have to mention as well, prior to the event, as you know, Austin Theory had an altercation with a media person.
Yes.
In the Australian
Yes.
media. And I have to mention that because for weeks now, since we've actually started the show, really, I do nothing but get on Austin Theory's ass.
Right.
And we talk about his character all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Really briefly, I'm just going to say it if Austin Theory's listening. Why can't you show the same passion in your promos and in your character as you did in real life with that damn reporter? Because he handled that really well.
Yeah.
I'll give him credit. I always give the devil their due.
Yep.
He did that really well. And he showed more personality in his personal life than he does in the ring. Austin, bring that character to WWE, okay? Bring that character.
I think there's growth there. I think he's gonna eventually do that. When the camera comes on, a lot of times I struggle with this myself. I'm still working on it, but the person I am off camera sometimes is a lot. You know, I have amazing jokes when I'm off camera, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I could do that on stage, right? But that's the bottom line, because not the real Austin said so. But my point is. He did that. You know what else happened though? Grayson Waller and LA Knight also went on a talk show out there, and also that got heated. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Grayson Waller was like, because the some dude off camera.
He did it twice in a week.
Yeah, some dude off camera like came out there. He's like, "Hey, put your dukes up. Let's do a match." He was trying to take the finisher from LA Knight, and Grayson got up. He's like, "Are you serious right now?" And then again, credit to both of them. I think they stood up. It was almost like the Hogan chokehold from many years ago.
See, that's the thing. This is the reason why this exists, and I think we should actually have a whole segment in another show dedicated to just this, because it's a really important topic to discuss. But briefly, just to touch up on what you're saying, the reason they're handling it so well right now, and they have to do it this way, and hats off to them both, is because of incidents like Hogan's incident with the headlock.
Yeah.
It's because of Dr. D slap to the face.
Yep.
Back then, they did what they had to do to protect kayfabe, and they got in serious trouble for it, you know?
Yeah.
Nowadays, you got to think of it this way. And you got to tell people, because people don't understand. It's like, look, if I put one move on you, you're probably going to get laid the hell out.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you sign a waiver. If you sign a waiver, it's one thing. But, like, even if you tell me you're cool right there on the spot, if you don't sue me, your family members are going to sue me.
100%.
If your family members don't sue me, then the network or whatever venue is going to sue me.
Yeah.
You really think I want to put thousands, potentially millions, depending on how big you are as a superstar, on the line just to show you that the wrestling hold is legit?
Right.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, fuck out of here. Hit me and I sue, Rock. Hit me and I sue. That's a callback to Rocky 5, if you've seen it.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean,
So now, yeah. So hats off to them for that. Okay, so Cody challenged The Rock. Seth is cleared basically to wrestle now at WrestleMania. Okay, going into the main event, the Eradicator, Rhea Ripley, successfully defended her title in front of her parents and siblings.
this match played out really well.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed this match.
Against Nia Jax, yeah.
Surprisingly, we're saying this about a Nia Jax match, but,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. And I told you this, we were talking yesterday. Nia Jax comes off to me as she doesn't actually care about the business. I feel like she is just using her bloodline, no pun intended, to get them,
I think she cares. I think she's careless.
Okay.
I really think
But that comes from, I feel like, not respecting the...
Yeah, no, it's true. I don't think that she completely disrespects the business. I think that her etiquette could use some work for sure, because if you do, you have a point. If you do respect the business, then part of respecting the business is doing things such as taking care of your fellow wrestlers and conducting yourself in a manner befitting of somebody as a member of the wrestling community and so forth. And sometimes I don't feel like she puts enough effort into taking care of her opponents. Like, we watched an episode really briefly, you and I, a couple of weeks back, about the bonsai drop that she initially dropped when she came back on Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
Stevie Richards was doing it.
Yeah, Stevie Richards.
And shout out to Stevie Richards, by the way. We ought to get him on the show too.
He's not as serious as he used to be.
Well, I mean, Stevie Richards has developed a sense of humor, which I can appreciate. You know, like, there's life after wrestling.
He has the right. He has the right to be funny.
Yeah. After he censored our right for so long. So, just let me wrap this up so that we can get into finishing the match. The way he was illustrating the way that she does certain moves as not being the safe way to execute them.
Yeah.
And I feel like if she would just respect the business a bit more by putting a little bit more work into it, she could become a really great heel. But to your credit, it is what it is right now. We move into this match. Fortunately, it seems like most of the moves in this match did not get botched.
No.
It went really well.
Yeah.
Both of them looked like they were hurt, but achieved the desired effect.
Right.
But escaped unscathed, uninjured.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nia Jax, for once. And we had a great match. I like the approach to it. I like how Rhea Ripley had to come out from under.
Yeah.
No Australia puns intended.
Well, you didn't say down under, but yeah. And she's always on top. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Except when the man is going to teach her what it's like to be a model.
No, she won't. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, according to the man herself, Becky Lynch. But that's a different story. Anyway, to finish up my thought, I like the fact that she came off as not the powerhouse of the match.
Right.
Being outpowered, having to overcome an obstacle to again validate why it is that mommy's always on top and solidify her status as champion. I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
That was the appropriate way to go. I think it got the fans more invested into the match because they really were concerned that there was a chance that Rhea could lose in her her home country.
Yeah.
It looked like it for a minute. It really did.
I know.
And that's it.
That's
Your
credit.
thoughts.
That's credit to that. But that's credit. We gotta, we can bash on Nia, but we can also give her credit. That's credit to the heel. The heel carries the match usually, right? So
She stepped up when
yeah.
it was needed.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully that's a normal thing now. And hopefully that becomes consistent. I think Nia's next like not revolution, but evolution of her abilities. I'm sorry to say this. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole, but I think she needs to drop a few lbs, and I think it's gonna kind of like what Gunther did, right? But not that much. Gunther really lost a lot of weight, but just enough to first of all be able to protect herself, and then second and I only say protect herself because usually the bigger wrestlers are very careful. Look at the Big Show, right? Look at the Undertaker. Look at even back in the day, Viscera. Look at these guys who were.
Well, actually, Viscera was known for injuring opponents really bad.
Really?
He was a Nia Jax type.
No way.
Yes.
I didn't hear that, but I mean, I believe you.
He broke Undertaker's orbital bone in a botched move. Undertaker hated. He never wanted to wrestle.
You're right about that. Okay.
He also injured Diesel's lower back with the botched, what do they call it when they just sit on your back.
Yeah.
Diesel had permanent. Kevin Nash has permanent back damage.
Fair enough.
For the rest of his life on that. Viscera was. Let's not get twisted. The other individuals
What about
you mentioned,
Bam Bam? Bam Bam was
fine.
well,
Yeah, Bam Bam again, perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But Viscera, no,
Right.
Viscera does not belong on that list.
That's fair. That's
He's
fair.
on the Nia Jax list.
Yeah. Bam Bam.
Actually, worse.
Right. But yeah, I think I don't know. That's my opinion on that. Okay. The PLE was decent. I think they had to go more balls to the wall because it was like as an arena. It was an arena PLE.
That's why, like I said, I thought
Not arena. Sorry, stadium PLE.
They could have did without the Grayson Waller effect. Oh, knock on Grayson
But that's because
Waller.
of his Aussie.
They needed another match.
Yeah.
Throw in another Aussie. Did they have? Oh yeah, they had that on the pre-show. There was a match there too.
Right.
It was Indy Hartwell.
Yeah.
Well, she's an Aussie. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they have like 4 Aussies. That big boy is from Sydney, isn't he?
That's what I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
he wasn't on the event.
Yeah.
Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed, yeah.
Why wasn't Bronson Reed booked in a match in Australia?
I think it's because there's a lot of politics in the back, and I feel that.
Well, I know they had to do the segment. They're building a WrestleMania,
and
but
it takes one vet to have one bad thing to say about one of the newer guys, and then they're gonna be they're not gonna get their opportunity, and that's unfortunately in a lot of these industries that's how it goes. But
overall, solid pay-per-view.
I'll take Bronson Reed over Nia Jax as far as big wrestlers that are able to perform.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So anyway, but Nia's getting better. So let's move on. I thought the PLE was decent, but I was more excited about the aftermath. So Raw happens. Here comes McIntyre. He again squashes Punk. He tries to work the crowd that he's hurt. And then he says, "What do you think I am? CM Punk? I will be at WrestleMania."
His mic work is actually vastly improved in
100%.
just a matter of months.
Yeah. Exactly. It took him getting, even his time back on the second stint in WWE, he's improved a lot more from when he first came back.
Especially over the past couple of months.
Right.
He had that. He even had that spur of the moment remark that he made about somebody peeking up his kilt.
Yep.
That was actually really funny.
It is. So I'm a Punk fan. I'm a Punk head. Everybody knows that. But I gotta. Like you said, I got to give Drew credit. The way he's building up this eventual feud with
without Punk not even being
there.
Yeah,
there's so much intrigue now about he's keeping Punk in the storyline, and he's not even going to be part of the match at WrestleMania potentially. So
Punk may not even be back until SummerSlam,
right?
Based on in terms of how the length it takes to recover from that injury.
Right.
So for Drew to be stepping it up on the mic this much to keep him relevant, at least until he can start making TV appearances, this is this is going to be great. Once it actually finally
Yeah.
happens and Punk is back and they're trading jabs at
Right.
each other verbally on the mic,
Yeah.
this is going to be great. This is just the perfect opportunity for Drew to build and continue to work on that character.
Right. I like it. I like Drew as a heel a lot more than I do as a face. So, it'll be great. But he's going after Seth. He was trying to get Seth to get out of the bloodline story. He, I didn't care for that much. I thought it was like it made sense, but also like
Again, Seth interjecting this whole bloodline story to begin with, I'm not a fan of.
yeah.
I will continue not to be a fan of it going into these promos.
Well, Seth's character, neither of us are a fan. Yeah, exactly. It's almost like he's like the Wish version of a fucking $1 Million Man.
But see, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that the WWE should probably play into this and lean into it more because they have an opportunity. From an outsider looking
Yeah.
in, an observer, Seth Rollins right now is so focused on helping Cody with the bloodline.
Yeah.
He's almost overlooking the Drew McIntyre match.
Yeah, he is.
So they should really play into that
Yeah.
angle to make it really hit home once Drew McIntyre wins, assuming that he wins.
I'm calling it now. He will beat.
I feel like he's gonna win.
He's gonna
you
beat
know.
Seth. He's a better heel right now than Seth is a face. I'm gonna say that right now, and I'm not apologizing.
I prayed for this.
Yeah, that. Listen, I'll take.
I love that.
I'll take an amazing heel. I'm not gonna put Drew in the amazing category, but he's doing great. He's doing great as a bad guy.
He's currently amazing. He hasn't always been amazing.
No, he hasn't always.
He's
But
currently amazing.
and my hope is he keeps that. He stays there or gets better. The fact that he's able to bury Punk while feuding with Seth, and he's a sympathizer for Seth Rollins.
Bro, those shirts are flying off the shelves. The DM hug.
Yeah, right. And
It's not just the selling of the promos. He's selling shirts.
yeah, he's selling shirts as a heel, guys. As a heel, that's it. He's a heel that you wanna cheer for in secret, right? That's kind of how I feel about him. Anyway, I think he's gonna beat Seth. Remains to be seen because now we know as of SmackDown, we have a counter offer by the Bloodline. The Rock comes out. I think it's being masterfully done. The Bloodline is they lost a lot of steam after Jay left, but and Sammy left. But I feel like it's got life again. The Bloodline is what's being talked about.
I will say this though.
And it's not even Roman. It's a Rock. It's Solo. Solo is getting love, right? He got the chance.
because he's like, it may not look like it, but Solo's got a lovely voice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Something like that.
No, right.
Not verbatim, but-
He's like, you might not be able to tell by looking at him, but he's got a lovely voice. So I love all that. I love those
Solo
little.
had a hard time keeping a straight face.
He
after
did though.
that.
He had to do this.
I
He
can
had to.
see it,
Yeah, he had
yeah.
to cover his face.
So Solo, do you really have a lovely voice? Let us know. Do you think Solo has a
I
lovely
do.
voice?
I also
Leave
think
it
so. Yeah.
your opinion in the comments below.
Yeah.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Listen, I think
subscribe.
Sup. Boom. I think there's videos out there living rent free somewhere of Solo singing. I listen. The Polynesians are not,
What you're saying that Solo has a video somewhere sitting in a one of them Hawaiian dresses in LA playing a ukulele.
Why you
toy?
gotta call it a dress, bro? That's so disrespectful.
Well, it's a grass dress.
I know, but I'm saying he just.
I mean, it's not like it's Irish where it can call it a kill. I mean, what do they call it? If you're out there and you know the name of the actual
yeah.
clothing item,
Right.
correct me.
Exactly.
I'm not saying it as a diss. I'm saying it completely out of ignorance. Correct me.
Correct him or yeah.
But I know the motherfucker probably plays a ukulele.
Fuck it. But listen, it's in like they got a lot of musicians in their. Rock's mom was a musician. Rock sings himself.
Yeah, he has rock concerts.
Yeah, exactly. You all remember a flashback to fucking Vicky Guerrero when he buried her. But anyway, so
You are lovely. You've got a lot of class. Unfortunately, I'm lying,
Yeah.
so you can kiss my candy ass.
Right. So there you go. Yeah, that was a good inflection of Rock. The big moment here. Counter offer to Cody Rhodes. He kept calling Seth Rollins an emoji clown.
That's the thing.
You
I
know
didn't
he
like
wants
about
to
this
say
promo.
something worse than
This
that.
this is the thing that I didn't like about this promo. Okay,
Tell me.
I do agree that for the most part, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's elevating the storyline. It's injecting new life, but The Rock almost feels like he's kind of trying to force it a bit because he's
Yes.
repeating things.
Yes.
Like including the line you just mentioned.
Yeah.
How many times did he said walking clown emoji?
Yeah, walking
like,
clown emoji.
We get it. The first 2 times is funny. The Rock used to just say something once.
Yep.
And people would repeat it and repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
It was the people repeating it that made it trend and funny. Now it's like The Rock is trying to force the trend.
I think he's catching.
He didn't do that the first night out, but it feels like now he's kind of stretching. And he's how many times did he say, "If you accept our challenge, Cody Rhodes"?
Yeah.
If you accept our challenge,
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes. Like,
You know, I know where that comes from. He was in his head, right? He was in.
he probably was.
Yeah, and
I'm just making an observation.
it's okay.
yeah.
I mean, The Rock has been amazing on the mic, and you know he's one of the best promos.
we can give him his leeway.
right.
I'm just making an observation.
No. You're right though. I agree. And even the best of the best have moments like that. You know, and it's not like Rock has been cutting promos the last 20 years, right? He's been off TV. He's been doing movies, complete different world, and he can't be The Rock in his movies. He had to be Dwayne Johnson. So the point I'm making though is even with all of that time off the mic, he's still getting people to fucking ooh and ah, right? And that to me is still impressive. I mean, he's still The Rock, and he's not 25-year-old Rock, right? He's over 50 now, and you know he's still trying to stay young, right? But there's moments that it shows that he's not the young
With the
Rock.
veins on his head.
The veins on his head and the voices in his head. No, shout out to
Wrong-
Randy Orton, man.
wrong wrestler,
No,
Randy.
yeah, I know. But no, they're both bald. That's why I said it. But anyway, he's still pushing that envelope, right? Because I feel like WWE right now is not sure if they're back to PG-14 like we used to be, or you know rated M. I don't. They were PG for so long, right?
Well, he said they're doing a couple of things where
they're towing the lines.
blurry.
Yeah,
The lines are blurry,
Right.
Because on
he
one
calls
hand,
it. Yeah, wrestling is cool
on
again.
one hand, you can say something on live TV, but then you have a promo that I don't care how you bleep it. Everyone knows what you're saying.
Yeah.
They can read your lips, and people can put 2 and 2 together.
Right.
You've got a promo that's out there on social media saying, Cody Rhodes.
Fuck your story. Yeah, I agree. Cody Rhodes, fuck your story. I wanted Rock Roman. I don't care if you want to call me a mark. I thought that was gonna be the bigger match. Granted, they're giving you like a second
I
version
wanted
of
it on a different pay-per-view, but neither one of us are getting what we want right
yeah,
now.
yeah, exactly.
But
But
it looks like it could be leading that way.
so now here's what I think of
Here's the stipulation.
Here's what I think of what came out of this. Obviously, I think Cody and Seth are going to accept this tag match, night 1 of WrestleMania versus Rock and Roman. If the Bloodline or if Rock and Roman win, they get to choose the stipulation for Cody and Roman on night 2.
Bloodline rule.
Bloodline rules. If they lose, Bloodline is banned, including The Rock, from interfering in the Cody Roman main event rematch from last year. So, here's my thoughts on this. When Rock laid all of this out, my immediate thought was Rock and Roman are going to win that match. They're going to win the tag team match. And it's going to cause a little bit of anxiety amongst the Cody crybabies. And they're going to feel like, oh, they're going to ruin it for him again. These are your casual fans, right? I'm not talking about fans like us. We're the great ones of fans.
Smart to the business.
Yeah. So if he's gonna say all that, that's gonna happen. Rock and Roman are gonna go over. But what then is gonna happen is it's gonna set up Cody climbing this entire bloodline of fucking people. By the way, there's also rumors that another member of the bloodline will appear and join this group. Mm-hmm. I think it might be Jay, but who I really think is going to be is Nia Jax, because she doesn't have any program right now. So I think they need a female presentation. I told you off the air that it can't be Rock's daughter. I don't think she's ready. Naomi though? Oh, because with Jimmy, maybe. But she's kind of like an extension. She's not really blood, right? I'm talking about like...
Well, if you really want to get technical, a lot of these people are not blood.
Really?
No, absolutely. The Rock is not even really blood.
Let
me tell you
High
why.
Chief Maivia?
Yeah, he's not blood. Because High Chief Maivia and Roman's ancestors are not even blood. They made a blood pact. Now, even if they were related, by the way...
You're talking about the grandfathers making that.
But even if they were related, by the way, let's just say both of them were related. Ata, the Rock's mom, is adopted. So she's not Peter Maiavia's blood daughter.
Break the walls down! You just broke the fourth wall, bro.
So Ata marries someone she's not blood. She marries someone that's completely not blood in Rocky Johnson.
Yeah.
So technically the Rock is not even their blood relative.
Yeah.
But it's like how us Persians have,
you
know, for those of you who don't know, we have two different types of uncles, Amus and Dais.
Amus are the brothers of the dads, and the Dais are the brothers of the moms. Anyway.
And that basically goes interchangeably for anybody who's a close member, a close friend of the family, blood pack, whatever, that basically takes care of families,
that's fair,
children, and everything. So they have a similar relationship.
So
I'm saying if you want to get technical,
but check it out, everybody.
But when you're raised as blood, as I have been with other people, you're basically considerable.
But that's true. But I think everybody. That's because you're smart to the business, is why you knew that, right?
Yeah.
But the casual fan doesn't.
I just broke it down for you.
No, of course, you did break it down.
Sorry.
No. So anyway, I think
Jim Cornette is actually responsible by his own admission for ruining kayfabe in the business. So blame Jim Cornette. Okay, it's not me.
Yeah.
He admitted it.
No, for sure. So anyway, bottom line, I think is it's going to be Nia Jax most likely that's going to join to help, but I could be wrong. Who do you guys think is going to be this other member that's going to reveal himself in the next 40 days until WrestleMania?
I'll say this.
You got 2 more SmackDowns with Rock on them next week and the week after.
I'll say this. I don't, but leading into it, when he broke down the whole other half of it, because I thought that's where the stipulations were going to stop. Once he broke down the stipulation, like, that we're going to ban all the members from the bloodline, that's where I was like, okay, you basically laid down the roadmap. You guys are going to lose. So
you think they'll lose the tag match?
Because, okay, either direction they go in, they've set it up to where it's going to make sense. So I do like it either way.
I agree.
It's not something that's going to come out of left field. They've set it up so they could go in either direction,
right?
Win or lose, and it would still make sense, and they could still continue the storyline. But think about this. Before all this happened, Cody came out that night. Why would Cody, before knowing this would happen, because this Rock Roman stuff, he relinquished his spot before.
Yeah.
He came out that night and he said, not WrestleMania.
Right.
So it leads, if you travel back and you retrace the steps from the very beginning, there is always the potential. They plotted this in the back, and this was all so that The Rock could help could help Cody complete his story.
I think you're giving too much credit to the back. Here's why.
Well, it's the simplest way.
No,
what
but-
we're actually doing is more. What we're actually doing with all the new members and all things is actually more complex.
Of course it is, but first of all, anyone who hasn't seen The Rock's IG post before last night's SmackDown, when today is March 2nd, March 1st SmackDown, go watch the promo he cut. It's a 21-minute promo, but every minute of it is worth it because he goes into detail of where the plans were supposed to go and where Cody screwed it up. And that's why he says, fuck your story on his IG. It's very convincing. I think he's blurring the lines there about what really happened backstage and what ended up happening on screen. I think he says it. He said the moment that things became doubtful is right after I gave Cody a hug and Cody walked out of the ring after saying not at WrestleMania, and then he said he knows you very well. That's when Rock came. Mm-hmm. After that, he told Cody he says what he says in his ear that no one heard on TV. Now I'm blanking on what he told him in his ear, but it was something to the effects of, "We're going to make WrestleMania amazing," basically, right? He's like, "This is for the business. We're doing this for the business, right?" So, and Cody seemingly agreed, and he says the moment it all changes, the way Cody looked back with doubt, going up the ramp and letting Rock get face to face with Roman. He says that's the moment that things shifted. And then fast forward to the Las Vegas press conference and Cody saying what he said. And then that is all a work. But I think he says the moment that felt real, that kind of shifted the people, the crybabies came out and all that, is in that moment, right? I think if he stayed in character, Cody I'm talking about, it could have been more favorable for people to cheer The Rock. Which, by the way, Glendale, Arizona, they were cheering The Rock when his music hit, and when Roman was talking before Rock came out, they were chanting Rocky.
I don't think that, but that's the thing. I don't think that anybody really was against The Rock going against Roman, but just not at WrestleMania, like I said.
But the reason it became that, the reason that that's happening, I think it furthered that visceral like hate for it because Cody showed
because
doubt.
They're feeding into real life. They're basically taking, that's the brilliance of this whole storyline right now that's injecting new life. The fact that they're taking real life, injecting it into the promos and blurring the lines.
Yeah.
Like I said,
It's masterfully
either way,
done. It's masterfully done.
They've left it to where no matter which direction they go to, that there will still be intrigue moving forward with whatever the result is.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about what could happen on one end. You're talking about what could happen the other end. But again, this just goes back to how brilliant this is.
Acknowledge me.
Fuck your acknowledgement!
What do we think of that part? That's another story within a story, man. I'm telling you, they're setting shit up. We're pretty fucking sure that Rock is going to turn on Roman, right? But what if we're wrong? What if they're swerving the...
That's why I said that's the brilliance of this whole, the way that they put it together.
Yeah.
So if anything, having this, scramble and figure this out, weeks going into the
Mania.
event, to Mania,
Yeah.
it's working out. It's being very well done.
Yep.
And now I am vested in Mania if I wasn't before.
So now we owe it to ourselves because we've been talking about Mania since last Mania. You, me, Pratik, Jason Acevedo, Jason Schuster even. We've been discussing like what's going to happen at Mania 40. What have I been saying this whole fucking time? And I know it's the furthest thing from the realm of possibility right now because he's not even close to this storyline.
You are still thinking about Damian Priest and that briefcase.
Yeah. Now, I know.
But that's again, going back to the brilliance of what's going on here.
Yeah.
It's all kind of tying in.
So here's what I was going to say.
What would be
Yeah.
extremely funny and then I'll let you finish.
Go.
Because I just had a thought. Because this would, again, play into Drew McIntyre's character. What if, because they have previous problems, Drew wins, Damian Priest cashes in on Drew, Drew gets his shine and his moment stolen again, and it fuels the character. Then off screen, after it happens, CM Punk starts throwing jabs and salt in the wound.
Oh my God. Okay, so that's a whole other episode we got to get into.
But yeah, we'll move forward.
But you're right.
But yes.
But no, what?
The brilliant thing is, that's the furthest thing in
Right,
people's minds
right,
right now.
right,
And
right.
anything can happen with that.
Well, speaking of Seth Rollins, the reason I think this could create some shock and awe is and the promo last night setting up this: if we lose, we're banned; if we win, we bloodline rules, all that. I feel like if what your prediction is what happens and Rock and Roman lose, now they're banned, right? People are feeling great. Oh, Cody gets a fair shot. He's about to win. Who pulls his leg? Damian Priest. That's where I think could be, right? And I'm just saying.
And you could, no. I mean, I'm not discrediting at that. I'm just to piggyback what you're saying.
Right.
The fact that the briefcase now is the furthest thing on people's minds makes it even more intriguing.
100%.
And I bet you most of you people who are watching this right now, before Pedge mentioned it, weren't even thinking about the briefcase.
Yeah.
Most of you.
Yeah.
Because there's so much chaos going on
Yeah.
about the main events, both of them going into WrestleMania, that the briefcase is the furthest thing from your mind. But
but you don't
it's
have my
there.
mind. Yeah. And I give myself credit for fucking being a beast of a man. And even though the beast is not allowed on WWE television, I can be, because that's a mentality right there. But anyway, point being, that would be a cool take. Anyway, we can dedicate a whole
Next
other
episode, I'm going to mention the beast because there's some information that we should probably bring up.
Stay tuned, because there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we can't fit it all on this show.
Yeah, there's a lot. But
We've still got two freaking more organizations to cover.
Yeah.
in the next
Luckily,
whatever.
luckily they're both kind of going downhill. No, I'm kidding. We
Well, I mean, that depends on your opinion on who's watching it.
yeah,
you know?
no. I'm kidding.
We don't wish it, but
No.
things are not looking good on both sides.
Let's talk.
They're certainly not WWE like momentum.
Right. Let's talk about what was formerly known as Impact Wrestling and is now again TNA. For once, I didn't want to talk about TNA, but you did. And you want to talk about Scott D'Amore's release.
See, but the reason I wanted to talk about TNA is not for the reasons that you think.
Oh, yeah? What
It's not to like rub their nose into it.
No, right.
TNA so I remember this is probably episode 3. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it was episode like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
When we first talked about Impact Wrestling's TNA returning promo before they could even call themselves that.
By the way, you cut a promo on Scott D'Amore. I remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Scott D'Amore cut a passionate promo.
Yes.
Regardless of what I think of it,
Yeah.
he cut a passionate promo.
Right.
And I don't question his passion for the business because
Mm-hmm.
you have to be passionate to put that much work into TNA or at that point Impact Wrestling to try and get it back off of its dying feet.
But it never dies. That's the thing. Everyone's been saying TNA's dying for 20 years, but they're still here, man.
Yeah, it's literally like that living vegetable.
What, like from McDonald's? Because it's processed.
Well, yeah, like it's like a McDonald's hamburger. You can leave it out for years and years and years. It's for sure it's bad for you to eat.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't disintegrate. Right. It doesn't decompose.
And the way Scott D'Amore feels about TNA, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. He really did love it. And so then what? So tell me what what you were going to tell me about Scott D'Amore.
Okay, so Scott D'Amore, I'm leading into this. Scott D'Amore makes this impassioned speech about how TNA is back and it's never going anywhere ever again. And obviously they couldn't use the name TNA for 2 months, but finally they build up to this.
Yeah.
January comes. They are now TNA wrestling again. They have a pay-per-view. Pay-per-view it did fairly decent.
Yeah.
There weren't that many terrible matches or anything. It was a solid pay-per-view. They debuted their new acquisition in Nick Nemeth,
Yes.
formerly known as Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
Fellow comic of yours.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But then Anthem, who is the parent company that is basically responsible for TNA having some new life into them,
Right.
makes a questionable decision.
Mm-hmm.
The man that literally helped bring your company back from the dead gave it a little bit more momentum. Gave people like Pedge the hope that they could come up to me and say, you know what? TNA is back. You know what? Know your role and shut your damn mouth. Stuff it in my face. The guy that's responsible for the recent momentum behind TNA, Scott D'Amore.
Yep.
They fire him.
And by they, we're talking about Anthem.
Anthem, yes.
Yeah. Anthem is the parent company, just like TKO is the parent company right now to WWE. Anyway, Anthem fires them. The entire TNA locker room and office are vehemently against this.
And they've written a letter
Yes.
to Anthem pleading for the reinstatement of Scott D'Amore.
Yeah.
Before I give my thought into this, see, I told you I'm off today. Before I give my thoughts into this, I'm going to actually go into this letter real quick.
Yeah.
Let's do that, and then we can break it down.
So we got it right here. You want me to read it, or you want to read it? Or should we just read excerpts from it?
I can go into it real quick.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. Len Scott.
By the
which
way,
are
he wants to talk about TNA.
representative. Yeah.
He's like, I want to talk about TNA, not you. I want to talk
Len Scott. I'm guessing these are representatives of Anthem.
Yes.
TNA Impact is not just our employer and the company for which we work. It is a family. A family that each of us has grown to love and cherish and trust with our bodies and our careers. A family for which we feel deeply and that desire above all else to protect. We are deeply saddened by the decision to remove Scott D'Amore from the TNA Impact family. Scott is a brilliant wrestling mind that has guided this company and has it positioned to take the next step upward in our industry. Scott is also so much more than this. He is a trusted friend, confidant, teacher, advisor, brother, and mentor to so many within the TNA Impact family. Scott has been the heart of the TNA Impact family for over 2 decades.
Can I just say they said family way too many times just so far. But anyway.
Remind you, though. I mean, I
it's like
agree with
Rock
you.
saying,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But mind you, these are wrestlers and talent writing this letter. It's not an attorney. So
No, that's fair. Okay.
yeah, no. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to get into my thoughts regarding that in a minute. But
Okay.
just to say that, I agree with you.
And I'm reacting organically, by
Yeah.
the way. I have not read this letter yet because he's a real TNA fan, so he's been really studying TNA. But go ahead.
Moving forward, Len and Anthem have been instrumental in supporting and building this company back from the ground up. The contributions of Len and Anthem have never gone unnoticed by anyone in the company, and we want to make sure Len knows this. TNA, simply put, would not have survived without Len and Anthem, not just financially, but with the undying faith in Scott and us to revive the company that was on the brink of death. Len and Anthem are the foundation that TNA has been able to build upon. We would not have made it back to this point without both of you. The fans know this, and the TNA family knows this. We come to you to voice our concern for TNA Impact, our family, and its future and direction. We, like you, wish to safeguard what we have all worked and sweat and bled for to build. We want TNA Impact to continue to grow and to continue to be an enviable place for all professional wrestlers to work. We understand and appreciate that professional wrestling at its core is a business, and that the company must provide a fiscally responsible, financially viable product. At the same time, professional wrestling is uniquely situated. The business of professional wrestling is so much more than balance sheets, downloads, and ratings. The wrestling business is and must be its people, its characters, and its storylines. That is to say, there is no wrestling business without the wrestling creative vision and the right people bringing the creative vision to life. To thrive, a wrestling company must have both an eye towards business decisions and its fingers on the pulse of creative decisions and the ever-changing appetite of our fans. It is in this light of concern and our desire to uphold the high standards of TNA Impact that we offer this letter. It is our desire to have a dialogue with you and the company in an effort to protect the present and future of TNA Impact for you, for Anthem, for the fans, and professional wrestlers. We feel strongly that a wrestling person needs to be intimately involved at a high level to ensure that the amazing company that we have built and product we have provided to our fans continues to grow and flourish. It is our opinion that the best possible person for that role was, is, and will be Scott.
Can I just make a little point here?
Yes, absolutely.
So far, if I'm Anthem and I'm listening to this so far, I'm not sold yet. Just my opinion. I'm not like, it's like, cool, you're being sentimental and you love Scott D'Amore, but it's not going to work. That's what my thought is so far. Continue.
We recognize that we do not necessarily know all the facts or details around the decision to remove Scott.
In this part, yeah.
In life, there is always the rumors, the opinions, and somewhere in between, the truth. We rarely get to know which is which. It remains our hope and desire that everyone can set aside the past few days and any hurt feelings or unkind words that may have been exchanged and meet to discuss a path forward that preserves the TNA Impact family we all hold so dearly. We remain steadfast and hopeful that this letter can be a first step to opening and keeping open productive lines of communication to ensure the TNA Impact family continues to be a wonderful, unique place to work for years to come. We ask and implore you to both come together and create a resolution that will reunite this family once again. We look forward to hearing from you and continuing this dialogue. Signed, your TNA family.
TNA has a bloodline too, apparently. Okay, so
It all belongs to Scott D'Amore.
so you know what?
Inbred family. No.
What this means to me is here comes Eric Bischoff. He's going
I'm back!
hey!
And better
than ever!
I'm back!
Yeah. No, he's gonna he wants another 81 weeks. He just wants 81 weeks to bury TNA.
Did he already do that?
No, because they're still around. Dixie Carter saved them.
He needs to finish the job.
Fucking.
Dixie Carter's the one who hired him in the first place.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. This is it's an emotionally charged letter. Not saying that it is out of line. It is a, like, they're just being sentimental and they're being they're sharing their true feelings about the matter. They're also admitting they don't know what's really going on between Scott D'Amore, what led to his firing. And I think that's the part that's missing in all this. And I think we need to figure that part out. Unless you have some insight on that, tell me your thoughts on that.
That I honestly don't know. I don't know what happened in the back regarding Scott D'Amore or TNA Impact Anthem, whatever you want to call the parent company.
Yeah.
I will say that this letter, as much as I admire talent standing up for what they feel is passionately the heart and soul of the company, it doesn't really convince me that Scott D'Amore should be rehired. It's one of those things where, like, we know you, we get it. You love the guy. He did a lot of good things for you. Built a lot of close relationships with him. But what is it specifically that Scott D'Amore did for the company that would convince us that he's worth holding on to. And I'm not saying he didn't do that. I'm saying the letter doesn't convey that.
No, it doesn't.
Because one of the things...
It's surface level. It's a bunch of surface level stuff. Yeah.
Yes, it's a lot of fluff.
Yeah.
What it comes down to is, what did Scott D'Amore accomplish? If he did accomplish a lot, which I'm not saying he didn't, if he did do a lot for the company, mention those things in the letter.
Yeah.
Provide factual evidences to your... You may not know what's working behind the scenes in terms of like ratings and numbers and so forth.
Yeah.
But talk about your working relationship with the man.
Mm-hmm.
What has he done for talent? What has he done for production when they're putting together these shows? Mention all the things that he has contributed to the company that is an actual asset. That's what should be included somewhere within this fluff. But based on this, it's basically like if you ground your kid.
Yeah.
And let's just say your figurative wife comes in and like, let him go, he's just a kid,
Right,
and
right,
that,
right,
and that.
right.
But you're not really giving any real reasons as to why you should let your kid off your punishment. You're just trying to butter him up. That's this letter.
Yeah, it is. So I think Anthem will respond to this letter. I don't think it'll be I don't think they'll take a meeting. They might, because these guys are ultimately their employees. So if their employees are not happy, then you should at least pay attention. And
If you're really not happy, go on strike.
yeah,
Well, actually, they can't go on strike because you have to be union to go on
right,
strike.
and they're not.
But you can walk off.
And Vince didn't allow that to happen a long time ago.
Yeah.
By the way,
But you can't. If the thing is, my impression with this, and don't get me wrong, I know it's very hard to do. I've actually walked off a site before from work without a union. We eventually had some of our demands met, but I understand when you walk off site, and you're not a part of a union, it means you're not getting paid.
yeah,
You're taking pay cuts. Not
Yeah.
pay cut. You're taking a hit. You're not getting paid.
yeah,
Well, meanwhile, you have bills to pay.
Yeah.
You don't know what kind of situation that workers are in. It's very difficult to ask people to walk off a site and lose pay and what is basically keeping them afloat day-to-day life. So I don't say this lightly.
yeah,
I've been in this position before. I know. I took a hit too. What I'm saying is my impression from this letter is that TNA's staff and the wrestlers seem to mostly be on the same page.
yeah.
If you're mostly on the same page, you can get maybe like 80 to 90 of these people to walk off.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like TNA would only have two options, and I don't think that they would take the first one. I feel like Anthem, I should say. Let me specify. I feel like Anthem would have two options. The first option would obviously just be like, hey, we don't care about this company anymore. Shut it down. But I feel like they have too much money invested in it at this point in time.
It's almost a Ted Turner, man. This is kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah, no, but think about that. If it is a Ted Turner, they're not going to just shut down the company.
Yeah,
They're going to put it up for sale
yeah,
because they want something out of this. And maybe that might be the move for TNA. Maybe they should get bought out by somebody.
this is not the first time TNA has been for sale, by the way.
Hey, I mean, for all you know, Tony Khan might buy
That's
it.
what I was thinking. It'll be
They already had a working relationship with them before. I'm not saying it's the best move, but I'm saying there's a market for them.
yeah,
The second thing would be if they're really passionate about having a wrestling program, if most of the talent walks off, you're not going to be able to hire that many wrestlers that are that talented off the bat.
no. It's gonna fuck up their programming.
So, you want to disrupt something? I mean, that's an option. But this letter, I admire the fact that they put this letter together. And if it was accompanied by an actual letter stating the facts about what Scott D'Amore had done, maybe through an attorney, and this was an accompanying testimonial, I could see its purpose.
Yeah.
But standing alone, I don't think it's going to do anything. I think they're just going to go about business as usual.
to comment on you saying Tony Khan might buy, and I thought it too, but then as we were talking about it, I realized something. TNA is the only company that has had a working relationship and has had its roster appear on AEW and WWE television.
Well, WWE could definitely be in the market too.
No, but here's what I'm saying. Just that fact alone is pretty interesting to me. You haven't seen that. You haven't seen one company branch out to both WWE and AEW. I'm looking at AEW and WWE as the two head honchos, right? They have the most money,
Right.
And so
The way I always looked at TNA, and for the most part, I mean, they had their peak. I realize that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, TNA, at the very minimum, has served almost like an OVW.
yeah,
It's been a place where they farmed some talent
Mm-hmm.
and sent some talent back that the other companies may not have necessarily felt were ready for the big time,
Mm-hmm.
built their career, and then come back. I mean, look at Drew McIntyre. Look at LA Knight.
Yeah.
I mean, LA Knight didn't come from there. He came from NWA and TNA. But still, it was a farming ground. Like he started there, and now he's up in the, the big two.
yeah,
So, at the very minimum, even if it's not going to stand as direct competition, I feel like TNA's purpose is still to put on a good show
yeah,
and help develop talent.
yeah.
So, it definitely has a place where it belongs. So,
How do you think Mustafa Ali feels right now? He just signed with them. I think it's hilarious, and it will be super ironic if the TKO ended up buying TNA, and then he's back in WWE,
well,
and then he's just shelved again. I'm sorry, it's funny to me because Mustafa.
I mean, the irony, yes.
Mustafa Ali would be. Listen, I think he's talented in the ring. Personally, I've given him a few chances to win me over as a fan, and it's just not doing it, man. I don't know. It's like he's not exciting to me. He's not a character that I'm invested in. He can go with the best of them in the ring. Don't get me wrong. He can be with anybody. He can be with someone as big as enormous as Big Show, or Braun Strowman, or the Nigerian, what was his name? Anyway, fucking MVP brings him out all the time. But my point is this.
Boss?
Yeah. Omos. But my point is he's doing a program now with Sabian on TNA, and we were not really going to get into storylines and all that with TNA, but we were just focusing on his letter. But bottom line is that him and Nick Nemeth and all these acquisitions that TNA has gotten, who are we crediting that to? Are we crediting that to Scott D'Amore? I feel like he must have been behind the wheel on that. I just don't feel like Mustafa Ali is gonna all of a sudden figure it out in TNA. That's just my humble opinion.
I don't think he'll all of a sudden figure it out, but he might figure it out.
I don't think this character works. He's the same character. He's still that's whether he's heel or face, it doesn't matter. He's still that. It's just like you don't care to cheer for him, or, in my opinion, you don't care to cheer for him or boo him. That's bad. That's not good for business.
Well, again, there's still some time.
There is
If
time.
you recall, and I don't know if you were following him at that time, Drew McIntyre, when he first came to TNA,
Yeah.
his character was still very bland.
Yeah. Drew Galloway. Yeah.
Drew Galloway was actually with LA Knight in a faction.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
And I believe that it was his character, but even then was still kind of bland. But he broke away from that faction. He grew from it,
Yeah.
and then he started to develop more.
Yeah.
I think that
That's fair.
Mustafa Ali currently right now is leaning on old habits because maybe this is the first time he's had in a long time to have a little bit more creative freedom.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're given more choices, it can be confusing. It's like
Sure.
going to a restaurant with a
Yeah.
big menu.
Right.
You think it's so great because you have a whole lot of options,
Yep.
but then you sit down, you're like, what do I want? Do I want that?
Yeah.
But that looks good too.
Right.
Maybe that, I think, give it a few more months and let's see what happens with Mustafa Ali. I think that your analysis of Mustafa Ali is accurate,
Yeah.
but I'm
And
not willing to close the door on him.
I
That's all
don't
I'm
blame.
saying.
I don't really blame anyone. I just think it's just a. It's just
Well, no, WWE screwed up on his character development.
well, they rebranded him a couple times, but
in a lot of failed angles. Remember, he was supposed to be the guy that we thought CM Punk was going to be initially with that hacker.
Yeah.
But then they didn't make him the hacker. They made him some weird guy that ended up on
yes,
with that faction that I can't even.
I remember that
right
faction.
now.
Yeah.
It was with Donovan
Right.
Djokovic, and then even Mia Lim was a part of it for a second, and
Mia Lim has been a part of a few factions.
yeah. I you know what? I hope the best for her. It seems like in the last few months, they've kind of given her a slight push and a little bit of a chance to prove herself. I hope she does because she's a good talent. But
So anyway,
I'm not willing to close the door on Mustafa Ali just yet, but your critique on him is spot on.
No, thank you. I'm good at that stuff. Let us know what you think on this letter and on TNA's immediate future and distant future and what's going to happen with Scott D'Amore. Is he coming back? And if you have insight on what really happened to lead to his firing, please link it in the comment section. And, listen, tomorrow is the big day, right?
Yeah, well, before you say that, I'll say this. TNA, you kind of expected a company with the challenges that TNA has to run into problems.
Yeah.
What I have to say is these last couple of months, a company that shouldn't have these problems has these problems. And it's very disappointing. I think you'd agree. In AEW.
Nice segue. Good job. No, fuck. Yeah, no. Well, I think AEW is getting the curse of injuries right now. That's not helping them.
Well, they also have really, really crappy creative. Let's be real.
Well, they didn't always
though. This incorporates right now directly into what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Sting's retirement match.
I know. Stinger, man. Listen. The young fucks are at it again. That's literally, listen, the young bucks.
You know what happens to me every time you mention their names?
What happens?
I literally get this surge of like negative energy that makes me want to punch a hole in the wall.
Okay, cool. Can we wait till you get home? But yeah,
I think we can wait, but like,
no, I'm kidding. Yeah, I get it though, but there's a reason for that, right? They're no longer the smart fans of the business are not fans of the Young Bucks, right? And they agree with what happened. They're siding with Punk, right? As far as everything from that moment forward has kind of
anybody who initially sided with the Bucks has no reason to side with them now.
Yeah, no reason. They've kind of fumbled this thing. And by the way,
they've revealed themselves.
They've revealed themselves, and by the way, Cody Rhodes might still be in AEW if it wasn't for the Young Bucks.
Yes, and the thing about it is too, you refer to their creative not always being this way. Well, guess what? Cody Rhodes was in the company when it wasn't.
Yeah, I agree.
Again, a lot of people are alluding to this tongue-in-cheek in their promos. Cody was the only competent EVP who gave a shit about the company. Even Darby Allin mentioned it in his promo. It's not all elite wrestling.
You know what
It's all friendship wrestling.
I just realized something just as we speak. I think the troubles of AEW and their ratings and their storylines, their creative, all of that, the drama with Punk, all of that started to go downhill right after Cody left.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a coincidence.
It's not coincidental.
No.
And
Cody was keeping the locker room happy, was keeping the people accountable.
Why do you think Cody went on a limb to help bring Punk back to WWE?
Right.
Because Cody already knew, without even having to be in that room when the event happened, the bullshit that was happening in AEW. He didn't buy the story. He went out there, he went and talked to Punk, and eventually helped him come back into the company.
I think Cody Rhodes.
WWE.
Listen, I think Cody Rhodes is a gem to wrestling right now, right? And
well, he comes from, again, wrestling royalty. His dad is responsible for a lot of the things that pro wrestlers do today. There is literally a finish named after the man, the Dusty finish.
no, I agree. No, but what I'm saying is, Dusty Rhodes aside, I'm talking about and Dustin too. He's another amazing.
Well, I'm
talent.
saying,
yeah. But
he grew up around that. He has to be passionate about it. Well, he doesn't have to be, but like it's natural for him to be passionate about it.
their sister isn't in the industry. But my point is, Cody, the fact that he started AEW, right? He was part of the original EVPs,
Right.
And the fact that what I was trying to say is,
He always seemed like the odd man out. The only reason the four of them were together was because they were in that faction, the Bullet Club in Japan.
yeah.
But he always seemed like the odd man out, the guy that wasn't a part of the group of the friends.
Right. But here's what I was going to say is that he's been able to accomplish everything that he's accomplished and hopefully more, right? But he's been able to do all of that, run a company, AEW, to new heights while he was a part of the organization. Give up his title as an EVP of the company. And this is a educated opinion on both of our parts. Most likely because of the Young Bucks, that didn't help him wanting to stay in AEW, and their ego, right, and their fucking pride over nothing. Getting himself out of that, going to WWE, doing what he's now doing in WWE, being the biggest storyline, the biggest wrestler ever in entertainment, The Rock, is mentioning Cody's name on his Instagram. Just think about that for a second. Like, he's doing all of this while still thinking about the Young Bucks, and he still says those are my buddies. Mm-hmm. He won't bury them. Is what my point is.
Well, you can. Here's the thing. No one ever said that they were enemies. You can still be friends with somebody,
just not business
but
partners.
admit that they do bad business.
Right.
I know plenty of people like that. Plenty of people that I could go out and have a beer with right now.
Yeah.
Chat, like we could talk all day long about whatever subjects you want.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, would you write a check and go into business with these people? I would say, fuck no.
No, right. All that to say, I hope, because I truly enjoy, and I think you do too, we enjoyed AEW. We want them to strive.
Of course.
And we want them to come out of this.
Shit, I want TNA to strive and succeed, but that's a whole different uphill battle.
All right, listen, man. If you're going to lie, just fucking,
I love pro wrestling. I want NWA to succeed.
Yes.
But again, that's a whole other uphill battle behind TNA. But getting back to this,
what I was going to say is,
what I'm saying, AEW is the alternative that actually has the legitimate funding and shot to achieve the levels that they should be at.
The biggest hope I have is the fact that Tony Khan is he's a huge wrestling fan, but his problem is he needs to switch that hat to an actual fucking owner.
He needs to give the booking to somebody that's actually good with booking.
Yeah. He's booking like a fan, not...
Yeah, with his action figures at home.
Right.
Like Jim Cornette alludes to constantly.
So here's what I think. So right now, I think what's even bigger than... And I usually don't say this about an individual.
Mind you, Jack Perry's not back either.
Yeah, I know. But I think that's a Tony Khan move. I think that's him vetoing whatever the EVPs want to do.
Well, regardless of whose move it was, it goes back to the situation.
Well, he's the one who suspended him.
No, I know, but it goes back to the situation of that whole fiasco being mishandled.
Yeah.
Because if this was all Punk's fault, why has Jack Perry been gone for so long?
Yeah. By the way, he's one of the four pillars as how they bill him.
Yeah,
in
well,
AEW.
that reminds me of why it looks like it's falling apart now. They're missing a pillar.
They're missing two pillars. They're missing MJF too.
Well, MJF, I mean, them missing him has been more or less has to do with, injuries and contract negotiations.
Right.
Jack Perry is just
Jack Perry kind of lost himself after the when he was a face with the Luchasaurus and all that. Like, I think he kind of
Jungle Boy.
Jungle Boy, like yeah, he was fine with that. And when he was, he was coming out of the shadow of his father, his late.
But also, let's be realistic. Jungle Boy as a gimmick was not going to get him to that next level.
No, of course not. But the point I'm saying is between MJF, Jungle Boy, or Jack Perry, Darby Allin, and who's the fourth one? Who's the fourth pillar? Was it Orange Squeak? No,
Orange Cassidy.
Was it Orange?
It was Orange Cassidy.
Okay, yeah. Well, right now Darby and Orange are still going strong, right? But the MJF obviously he carried the company with the title and all that for the months that he did.
The poor guy needs some rest. Like,
he needs it. He needs
aside from anything going on storyline wise.
Yeah.
He had a lot of injuries he was nursing,
right?
And
and I thought AEW was better at paying attention to fatigue factors for wrestlers. I think they were better at letting them have time off and then come back with a fresh story.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have health insurance and so forth, I believe, which the WWE doesn't offer because of
financial.
Because AEW wrestlers are employees; they're not 1099 contractors. I say all that to bring it back full circle to this match.
Yes,
this storyline. First of all, it seems very choppy at the best because it was thrown together in such a short amount of time, which is an injustice to what a retirement match for a wrestler of the stature of Sting should be.
Yeah.
Okay? Second, I don't understand why it is that Sting's retirement match is a tag match. Title or no title, the spotlight should be on Sting, and then the opponent should be someone that they're willing to put over. Now, what would have been a good idea, let me give you a good scenario, and this kind of brings it back to the what should have been Ric Flair's proper retirement. And
he's in the
Shawn
story
Michaels.
too, by the way.
Yeah. But remember, Shawn, although I understand why they gave it to Shawn, I probably would have gone with a different opponent, but I wasn't mad at it because it was a great match, greatly executed. That's a different era. But I bring that match up to bring up this. What would have been better, seeing as you've built this up since Sting has come into the company, is if the person to retire Sting would have been Darby Allin himself. His protege passing on the torch.
I'm thinking on the, I'm literally thinking about that on the air right now. But what I'm saying is, or what I'm thinking,
or at least somebody you want to put over, someone you can benefit from. Sting.
I think the route.
The Bucks don't have anything to benefit.
So here's my take. Okay, here's my take on this whole thing. I'm mad at it like you are, that it's the Bucks.
I'm mad the Bucks are still wrestling, but that's
right.
a different situation.
Well, it's not knowing your role and shutting your mouth. They don't know that, right? So
they apparently don't know that because they've never worked for a company where they had to.
Well, that company never wanted them to begin with.
Yeah, they've rejected their tryouts several times.
Yes,
there's a reason.
Yes.
They're like Hardy's 0.5.
0.5. So they're half Hardy.
Yeah.
They're half hard.
Yeah, that's what they were.
They
were always looked at as like the Hardys, like little brothers, you know, like the half-ass Hardys.
Yeah. But no, this is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
There's only one way that this tag match with between Sting and Darby and the Bucks, the Fucks, that is going to be it can redeem itself. This is the only way. And that is for Sting to retire as a champion.
Yeah. If he doesn't go over in this match and he doesn't have a spot and for some reason if the Fucks win, I swear to God, you are going to have a problem with getting me to watch TNA for this program.
You mean AEW?
AEW.
Yeah, I know you hate TNA, but listen, AEW.
Oh, but
no. Listen, there's a lot of acronyms out there in wrestling. I get it.
Listen, I'd rather watch TNA at this point.
Well, listen to me.
Than watch the Fucks go over.
Yeah.
Sting.
They're not even young anymore. Why are you called the Young Bucks? You're 45 years old.
Yeah, Matthew.
Yeah, exactly. Like, go anyway. Bottom line is this is
Matthew Jackson.
and to comment on what you said about why is he not having a one-on-one match? He hasn't had a one-on-one match in a long time. Sting has not had it's been tag matches Sting has said it in his last promo. He said it. I'm going to share a moment with you. This is he said, I'm glad that I was here and I had the greatest tag team partner in Darby Allin. He is putting Darby over, right? He is he's doing this to pass the torch to Darby Allin, right? Now, on paper, the two wrestlers being Sting and Darby Allin, they don't have much in common, right? Sting, much bigger wrestler, a different style of wrestler, right? A different character. Darby being the loner, right, with the darker past. Sting
That's
didn't.
where we give him the advantage, though. The fact that Sting is aging. In prime Sting, would never lose to Darby Allin.
No. And I know.
I'm saying that would be the passing of the torch. That finally Sting has reached that point where he can no longer hang with that, but he's going to do his damn best to. And Darby Allin.
And Adam Copeland, I mean, you saw I don't know if you saw the promo they cut for the Thank You Sting on AEW Instagram. But it's basically a bunch of wrestlers paying their tributes and respects to Sting. And the thing my favorite line was from Adam Copeland. He and it's a promo actually in the ring. He's talking to Sting himself. He says, a lot of us wrestlers right now in this business, a big part of the reason we pursued this profession was because of him, because of Sting, right? I can say Undertaker was probably another one, but Sting, he was able to be great in multiple companies, right? He elevated TNA, he elevated WCW. He had a short stint in WWE in the beginning of his career.
Well, still people were excited to see Sting. It wasn't their fault on how he was booked.
No, of course, yeah. And so anyway, bottom line is
he's still sold tickets. He put asses in seats.
And I'm still excited, despite the Young Bucks being in the match, despite it being a tag match. I'm still excited to see the send off tomorrow because they've been promoting this for the last 6 months.
Young fucks do the right thing, get fucked up, let Sting fuck you up, and disappear for a while.
Well, listen to me. I think this is
Sting's moment.
It is Sting's moment, and I think they're gonna do the right. Just like Nia Jax had a great match, not a great match. She had a pretty good match. I think Bucks are gonna do the right thing, like Nia did. Anyway, I wanted to end this episode to pay our own tribute as fans of Sting by sharing one or two favorite moments from his illustrious career, the icon. I don't know if you have something. I do. I know what one of my favorite moments is from Sting.
Go ahead, share
I can share it. By the way, you guys comment with your favorite moment from Sting. Let us know what your thoughts are on his illustrious career. When did you first see Sting? What was your first memory of watching Sting? I can tell you what my favorite moment was. And we got to rewind the clock a little bit. But and maybe a lot of people share this moment with me. But to me, it exemplified Sting. And I'm specifically talking about Crow Sting. Now, there's many renditions of Sting. But Crow Sting, who was in the rafters in WCW for a whole year after the NWO came to be. And that dark twist to Sting's character. I think my favorite moment was when Sting came down and he finally went after NWO. And there was several times that the NWO, and I give credit to Hogan and Scott Hall and Kevin Nash for selling this, but they would spot Sting in the rafters, and when he was repelling, which, by the way, thank you AEW for letting him repel on his final Dynamite this last week, and And by the way, he had to get the blessings of Owen's late a widow to do that. So hats off to her as well. Anyway, the point is, when he repelled on a night of Nitro, Monday Nitro, he repels in the middle of the ring. I love this moment. There was a lot of fake Stings out there, right? There was a lot of fake Sting masks, which, by the way, the Dark Knight borrowed that idea, I think, from that storyline when they showed a lot of fake Batmans, right? Mm-hmm. I think they got that from this. You had a lot of mannequin Stings, right? That was a big thing back then. To me, it was. I actually, at the age of 13, that I was watching this, and I still watch it, and I still mark out, because Sting had to do this angle with one take, and he had to do it so well that the audience and people and everyone watching at home had to believe that this was actually not Sting. This was a mannequin Sting. And it was a moment where he rappels down into the middle of the ring, NWO surrounding him, and he's frozen perfectly without moving any limb to show that this is a real person or the real Sting. He's wearing a mask, and it got to the point till I believe it was Hogan, but it might have been Scott Hall. They're trying to figure out, is this the real Sting or is this the mannequin? And they start pushing him. And the way he sold this was incredible. He moved, but it was just like I was confident and 100% sure this was the mannequin. Like, this was not the real Sting. I bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. I was like, that's not Sting. It's not a natural, how he sold the fact that he was a piece of plastic. I was like, that is crazy. And then I think it was Hogan or Scott Hall flips the fake mask off of the face, right? And guess what's under it? It's the real Sting. And then he comes to life. Like, he comes to life, removes the cable, pulls out his sepide, pulls out the bat, and proceeds to whoop the entire NWO's ass. That to me was incredible. Now, to me, that's one of my favorite moments from Sting, and it was Crow Sting, and it was the original Crow Sting. It was the original white-faced Sting with stripes. But I don't know. What do you think of that, and what is your favorite moment?
Well, it's funny that you bring that up, because I personally, even with a lot of the rap persona that I have, because I don't talk about it too much on the show, but obviously you're the comedian.
He's a great rapper, guys.
The rapper.
Yeah.
The MC. I incorporated a black baseball bat into my persona because of Sting.
Wow.
And it always just left a impression on me. And I know I even have it in the music video. You're in the music video. And
Yeah.
The thing is, a lot of people were like, why'd you choose a bat? And I could always remember the days of WCW and Crow Sting.
Yeah.
Shout out to Scott Hall, by the way, because the idea for Crow Sting
was from him. Yeah.
So
brilliant mind, Scott Hall. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But Steve Borden sold it so well, and the bat became such an iconic part of his character.
Yeah.
That the same way that rappers out there right now are using Ric Flair for his Ric Flair drip because of his watches and stuff.
Yeah.
I pay tribute to Sting by carrying my black bat.
That's amazing.
As far as moments, I mean, there's a lot of moments.
Of course, it's not
throughout a long, illustrious career. I think even before Crow Sting, I remember watching Ric Flair and Sting for the world title.
Oh, yeah.
I think that match went for almost an hour.
Ric Flair helped put him over.
And
yeah,
the crazy part about the match like that is I had just started getting into WCW, and here's the irony. I mean, I wasn't a big WCW mark. Not at all. It was something more that my dad put me onto because back then, people watched WWE were watching it for the characters
Yeah.
and, you know, the over the top stuff. That's why you had people like a policeman like Big Boss Man, or you had people like Hulk Hogan, larger than life, or
Yeah.
like even people like Kamala that look like they came from the jungle, which you couldn't do today on TV because it looks like you would get canceled.
Right. Right.
But they had all these over the top characters. But then in WCW, and mind you, when I was doing this, when I was watching this, I was a kid. So I wasn't as smart to the business as I am right now. And so, you know, I was used to these over the top characters. And when I would watch WCW, I didn't have the appreciation that I now do for a lot of those older matches today.
Yeah.
But my dad would watch it, and he would always, and this going back to, you know, the organizations. My dad used to talk so much about Ric Flair, how Hogan was not a real champion.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
He's just there for show. Ric Flair knows how to wrestle. So he used to, like, try to put me onto Ric Flair matches. You couldn't watch some of these great Ric Flair matches around the time when I was a kid without seeing Sting.
Yeah.
And Sting was kind of like, he was kind of that balance for me. He wasn't an too over the top character, but he was still a character. He wasn't like, you know, like one of those good old boys down in Georgia, like
Yeah.
they like them mostly in WCW. He was something else. He had that face paint. Back then, he had the little rat tail ponytail. With
Yeah,
his
yeah, yeah, yeah.
surfer buzz cut. And
But that's what's amazing, right? Because it was like you never in a million years would think that rendition of Sting, still face paint, would become that Sting, the Crow Sting. That it was such a dark flip, right?
well, if you think about it too, nobody actually thought in the beginning when he was paired with Warrior as the Dingo
Yeah,
Warrior.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
The-
the Blade Runners.
the Blade Runners, yeah.
Was Dingo Warrior, and I forget what Sting's actual Warrior.
Right.
I think it.
Rest in peace, Warrior as well. But yeah,
But with such a goofy gimmick
Mm-hmm.
and what they had going on, especially since both of them came from bodybuilding backgrounds.
yes,
And what Warrior ended up becoming, because Warrior was never known as a great worker.
no,
Sting was kind of, in the beginning of his career, like kind of, I want to say, pigeonholed into that
pigeonholed, yeah,
role. But he broke out to be such more than that. He turned out to be a workhorse. A workhorse that eventually became the franchise of WCW.
right,
The thing that no matter what, even when Ric Flair left, you could always rely on Sting to carry the company.
yeah,
And from that guy who won his first championship, and to those battles with Ric Flair and Rick Rude and so many more,
man, yeah,
to transitioning just like Hogan did, even though we don't like to talk about Hogan in that.
no,
respect, but
100%.
people, I bring that up because people are always talking about how Hogan transformed his and revived his career with the NWO turn. But people also have to know, side by side, parallel to that, Sting transformed his career
Yeah,
into his role as the Crow Sting
absolutely,
and reinvented his career and injected new life into his career
yeah,
and became something different. For him to go to do that, stay loyal to the company to the very end. And then another one of my favorite moments is, I know it's not during one of the greatest periods of TNA history,
I know what you're gonna say.
but he still did a job and he made me laugh and he was entertained even when a lot of TNA was not doing that as a whole, was when he became Joker Sting.
Joker Sting was my favorite as well. It was
Joker Sting was like something else. It was like another reinvention. And
yeah, I love
the
Joker
way
Sting.
that he made Hogan look like such an ass on TV during that period.
Yeah,
Even though it's kayfabe, you could tell there's a little bit of realism injected in there
Yep.
for the way that they handled Starrcade.
Yeah.
That's a whole other episode entirely.
Right.
But
Right.
I say all that to say, probably because I couldn't narrow it down, Sting has given us so many memories.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm still hoping for the best. That's why the Bucks being involved kind of upsets me
Yeah.
with the way the TNA has handled it. But I still will be watching to see Sting one last time in the ring. And I hope to God it's a great moment because that man deserves it.
He deserves
It's a
it.
great send-off.
Sting, thanks for all the memories, man. Thank you for basically influencing our childhood. I mean, I remember me and my cousin. We dressed up as he dressed up as Sting, and I dressed up as Kane, and we went trick or treating. Like I remember that, right? Like these were like fantasy bookings that we did. We were like, oh, what if Sting and Kane became a tag team? You know, like we were like thinking outside the box. We were like, that would have been cool.
The dream match.
The dream match that never happened, of
Yeah.
course. Listen, honestly, WWE has done a lot of great things, but this isn't one of them. They handled Sting's run in WWE very poorly.
Well, they dropped the ball on numerous occasions.
Yeah.
Because had they not been so petty, Sting would have joined the company earlier.
Yeah.
Their
Oh, that's a
run.
Vince thing.
Well, yes, no, but I'm saying WWE dropped the. Well, Vince was there when he came back,
Right.
too, when he finally joined the company.
That was
But
yeah.
had Vince not conducted business the way that he did, Sting might have came in right when WCW ended.
And maybe we would have had a
And we
Taker.
would
match.
have
We
had
would have
that-
definitely had it.
We would have had that.
Undertaker,
And
Sting.
we wouldn't have
yeah.
had to worry about, because one of the reasons that they reneged on doing that, and they had questions about that, was when Sting did join the company again, they were worried that he was too old, and Undertaker was too old,
Yeah.
two old guys. Had they had just conducted business the way that they were supposed to, we would have got it when Taker and Sting could still really go. We
Yep.
would have had a real dream match.
Yeah.
It's not the first time WWE did that. They dropped the ball with Hogan Flair.
Yeah.
They never ended up having it. They had Flair Savage, which was still a very, very good match. Not taking anything away from it, but it was dropping the ball because they let a blockbuster slip under. And I feel like they did.
You
They
did.
repeated that mistake in history with Sting and Undertaker.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah. So yeah, there was, but you know what? All that said, I mean, Sting's Hall of Fame, multiple Hall of Fame career, I would say. Like he could be in a Hall of Fame for each of these different versions of Sting. I feel like deserve it, right? But obviously, Steve Borden behind the painting, a class act, a truly great person, and in that Instagram post from AEW. His own children are in that and saying we had the best father. He was the most present while he was doing this entire career that most people in that industry aren't able to be present in their children's lives. And he was able to do that and still be a class act in at home and in the wrestling industry. There's no other way to say it to end this episode of Legend of Wrestling, but thank you, Sting, and you made
Sting. Thank you, Steve Borden. Whatever you
yeah
choose to be called from this day moving forward,
Right.
after your retirement.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it will always be champion, and it is well earned and deserved.
woo.
Because you suck, Teddy Bears. You suck, Dusty Rose. You suck, Randy Savage. You suck.